This is grade 4, Module 1, Lesson 12, and the objective in this module is to solve multi-step word problems using the standard addition algorithm modeled with tape diagrams and assess the reasonableness of answers using rounding. So we're going to look at question number 1, and it's part A, B, and C here. And it says, estimate and then solve each problem. Model the problem with a tape diagram. Explain if your answer is reasonable. There were 3,905 more hits on the school's website in January than February. February had 9,854 hits. How many hits did the school's website have during both months? Part A says about how many hits did the website have during January and February. So when I see the word about, that's telling me I'm going to do some rounding here. So let's look at the numbers that they gave me. They have, there were 3,905 more hits on the school's website in January than February. February had 9,854 hits. How many hits did the school website have during both months? So we know that in January, I'm going to just make a J, and this is February. January, there was 3,905 more hits. So let's see, January and February, these, we're going to pretend these are even. So January has 3,905 more than February, and February had 9,854. So January, now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at my numbers, and I'm going to go ahead and do some rounding. So in February, 9,854, we're going to say that's about 10,000. Okay? And this is for February. And then January had 10,000 plus 3,905, and I'm going to round that. Let me just put that over here. I'm going to say that's about 4,000. Okay. So January would be 14,000. Now it says about how many hits did the website have during both months, so January and February. So let me just erase right here so I can write a target sentence. And that reads, there were about 24,000 hits during January and February. So I just added 14,000 and the 10,000 here to get 24,000. So part B says exactly how many hits did the website have during January and February. So that word exactly means I have to use the numbers that were given. I'm not rounding any numbers this time. Okay, so I'm using the same tape diagram that I used above, but I'm actually going to use the numbers that were given. So January's total, to find January's total, I have to add 9,854 plus 3,905. And when I add those together, I have a sum of 13,759. Okay, and then February is already given to me as 9,854. So now I need to find out the combined total. So I'm going to add my total for January with the total for February. Okay, and I have a total, an actual total of 23,613, and that's hits. Okay. So part C says, is your answer reasonable? Compare your estimate from A to your answer from B and write a sentence explaining your reasoning. Okay, so I'm going to do that on the next page. Oh, let me get a new page in there. So bringing the information over, for part A, I had a estimated total of 24,000 hits. And for B, I had an actual total, or the exact amount, of 23,613. So I'm going to write what my explanation is, and my explanation says my answer is reasonable because the estimate and exact total are close. So they're two numbers that are pretty close to each other. So the closer those numbers are, the more accurate your answer would be. Okay, so now we're going to look at question number 3, and it says, last year on Ted's farm, his 4 cows produced the following numbers of liters of milk. So here's a chart, and we have the cows listed as Daisy, Betsy, Mary, and Buttercup. And the liters of milk produced 5,098 for Daisy. Betsy, we don't know. Mary has 9,980, and Buttercup has 7,087. So part A says Betsy produced 986 more liters of milk than Buttercup. How many liters of milk did all 4 cows produce? So we have to find Betsy's first. So this is important, 986 more liters of milk than Buttercup. So let's just draw a simple tape diagram. So this is what Buttercup produced, which was 7,087. But Betsy produced 986 more. So Betsy is this whole total, okay? So we're going to do the same thing we did before. I'm going to use the standard addition algorithm to solve that. And I have 8,073 liters of milk produced. That's not what the question's asking me for, though. So how many liters of milk did all 4 cows produce? So let me write my target sentence. And that reads, all 4 cows produced blank liters of milk. So we need to take all of the amounts of milk that they produce and add them all together. It's very important that the students line up these numbers according to the place value. Okay, and now we just add these together. And then my answer is 30,238 liters of milk produced. So all 4 cows produced 30,238 liters of milk.